to another TierMaker list. I've decided that we're probably going to be doing these for a little while. I might enjoy making them, and it's fun. By the way, if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content, and tell a friend. And without any further ado, let's get to this TierMaker list for MLB ballparks. The first one up is going to be Marlins Park in Miami. And this is one of the newer parks in Major League Baseball. They took out that god-awful statue they had out in the center field location. It's a really modern-esque ballpark. It's got several interesting features to it, but overall, I just think that it's not a great park in my opinion. It's an F. Yeah, not a great park. All right, so Citizens Bank Park, which is the home of the Philadelphia Phillies, replaced Veterans Stadium, kind of a homage to Schaub Park. It's a retro classic ballpark in Philadelphia. I'm going to put that in the B tier. I think it's a B tier park. Next up is Comerica Park, which is the home of the Tigers. It's got great views of downtown Detroit. Just a nice facility. We're going to put that in the A tier. Next up is the second oldest park in Major League Baseball, Wrigley Fields, the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Just an historic location in Chicago. We're going to put that in the S tier. Oracle Park, which is located by San Francisco Bay. It's got the nice, big mitt, the big long Coke bottle, McCovey Cove. Just everything about this park says classy. And it's going to be an S tier. Really a one that set the mold for parks this century. Minute Maid Park in Houston. This park used to have some really nice features. The Towels Hill, I really enjoyed that. Not a lot of people did. The huge pole at the top of the hill there. It's got the Crawford boxes, the retractable roof, the train. It's a hitter's park. I really like this park, but I liked it before they made the renovations. So we're going to put it in the B tier. It used to be an A tier, but since they've made the changes, it's a B tier. Rogers Center, which was the first stadium to have a working retractable roof and really showed that you could make a retractable roof stadium practical in Major League Baseball. I am going to put this in the D tier. At the time it opened, it was very modern and very advanced, but it's not aged well in my opinion. Target Field, which has nice views of downtown Minneapolis, and is an outside park in a very cold part of the country. It's not got a retractable roof. It is an open air stadium. I like Target Field, but I think it's kind of lacking a little bit. So we're going to put it in the C tier. Nationals Park, which is really revitalized the area of Washington, D.C. it's in. It has made Washington Nationals baseball into a happening thing in the nation's capital, and their fans really have responded well to it. We're going to put it at an A tier. While it does have some views of the capital, and they're really far off from the stadium. so you really can't see them that well. City Field, which is an homage to Ebbets Field, and really embraces that aspect of New York baseball history while staying true to the Mets image. I like City Field. I think ball games there look good. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. City Field is a nice ballpark. We're actually gonna put it high up in the B tier. So there we go. Progressive Field, the home of the currently named Cleveland Indians, soon to be the Cleveland Guardians. I like this ballpark. I've always thought games here look good. It's beginning to be one of the older parks in the league. But overall, I think it's a nice stadium. We're gonna put it in the B tier. No, actually, we're gonna put it in the C tier, the higher C tier. And of course, it's got great views of Cleveland, downtown Cleveland. Tropicana Field, the only completely domed stadium left in Major League Baseball. It is a disaster. There are catwalks everywhere, and it is just a terrible, terrible stadium. It is F. And I would contend it is the worst stadium in Major League Baseball. Kauffman Stadium, famous for the waterfall, the crown-shaped scoreboard, and many other features. Home of the Kansas City Royals. I'm not a real big fan of this park. We're going to put it in the D tier. They do not have an updated logo for this, but the Texas Rangers currently play at Globe Life Field. No, yes, that is an updated one. I am sorry. Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, home of the Texas Rangers, is the newest park in Major League Baseball. I am a fan of this facility. I think it looks amazing. It was home of the World Series last year. It served as the home field during the World Series for both the Rays and the Dodgers. And I think that was a great coming out party for that facility. So we're going to put it in the S tier. Fenway Park is the oldest park in Major League Baseball. The Green Monster. Just a happening place, a cool venue for baseball. Nothing says baseball, in my opinion, quite like Fenway Park, with the exception of Wrigley Field. So it is an S tier. Busch Stadium features great views of downtown St. Louis. The Arch, the old courthouse, is in walking distance of both, and is just in a great position in downtown St. Louis. We're going to put that in the A tier. Great views of also downtown St. Louis. Just a fabulous, fabulous facility. Pnc Park is located right on the Allegheny River in downtown Pittsburgh. It's got a nice view of the bridge right there by the ballpark. Isn't famous for splashdowns like Oracle Park out in San Francisco. It is just a great ballpark, and we're going to put it in the A tier, one of the top A tier stadiums in the country. What is now Truist Park, the home of the Atlanta Braves. We've got a lot of great facilities there. Much easier to manage the traffic at Truist Park than its predecessor, and a lot more parking, even though some of that parking is a bit of ways away from the stadium. Just a great facility there in Atlanta. We're going to put it in the B tier. It's not an A tier, but it's not a C tier either. I really like Truist Park. Uh, One drawback is that being a bit away from the actual Atlanta proper is you don't get a great view of the Atlanta skyline like you did at Turner Field. That was one amazing aspect of Turner Field was just its gorgeous, gorgeous view of the skyline of Atlanta, Georgia. Next is Great American Ballpark, located right on the Ohio River, downtown Cincinnati. Um, it's kind of facing away from the city skyline, um, and it's famous for the two smokestacks, which of course are an homage to the famous history of steam boats and paddle boats going up and down the Ohio River. I'm not as big a fan of this ballpark as a lot of people are. It's still a great ballpark. I'm just not a as big fan as some people are, so I will put it in the C tier. Next up is Yankee Stadium, and this is the current iteration of Yankee Stadium that replaced, of course, the house that Ruth built. This stadium is much more of an homage to the pre 1976 renovations of Yankee Stadium, especially on the exterior of the stadium. On the inside, it's completely modern and just a cathedral to the game of baseball. But I do think it lost a lot of that history that the previous facility had. And for that, we're going to put it in the A tier, not the S tier. I'm big on, that losing that history kind of hurt its allure in some respects. The O. Coliseum, home of the Oakland Athletics. This facility's troubles are well noted. Utilities are a constant concern. Bad field quality, although I think that may get better now that they're not having to share a home with the recently departed Raiders, who, of course, moved to Las Vegas. So we're going to put the A's ODOT Coliseum a pinch above Tropicana Field. Coors Field, which is in Denver, is a nice stadium. It has picturesque views of the mountains and just is a really nice facility there in the Rockies. We're going to put it in the B tier. And here next is the park that changed everything with respects to how ballparks were built. Camden Yards was in the first retro classic ballpark, and it changed how ballparks were built and how ballparks fit into an area. It has the warehouse, and even though it's getting close to 30 years old, it is just as magnificent as it was the day it opened. It is an S tier ballpark. Petco Park, which is in San Diego, has picturesque views of downtown San Diego. Just is a really nice facility there in San Diego, and has helped the Padres really establish themselves as a place that people might want to go see a ball game. So we're going to put it in the B tier. Chase Field, which is in Phoenix, is the home of the Diamondbacks. Retractable roof stadium, famous for the pool area, and just apparently a really cool game day atmosphere. I think the pool is super awesome. But it does have some just like, I'm not real crazy about just like basically hardly any seating in this outfield. So we're going to put it in the C tier, on the lower end of the C tier. What is now Comerica Family Field in Milwaukee, the home of the Brewers. which is a wonderful facility that I have visited. It does have some drawbacks. It does not have some of the things that it doesn't have a museum like some stadiums do, but it does have homage to Milwaukee baseball history. Um, I'm going to put it in the B tier. I was a big fan of it, and I enjoyed the game I saw in Milwaukee. Uh, the two stadiums that I personally visited is Miller, the formerly Miller Park and formerly SunTrust Park. They were known as that when I visited. Angels Stadium is next, which is the home of the Los Angeles Angels. Um, it's a nice stadium. It's got that nice rock formation out in the outfield. It's a ways away from Los Angeles, so you don't have a sweeping view of the skyline. You do get a nice view of the freeway, though. We're going to put it in the D tier. I think that it could be better. Next up is Dodger Stadium. And due to the history associated with the building of Dodger Stadium, I'm going to put it in the A tier. If it did not have the dark history associated with it that it does, you need to read the book Stealing Home to really get a sense of that. I would put it in the S tier, but it is that history and association that brings it down. T-Mobile Park, home of the Seattle Mariners, is a beautiful ballpark there in Seattle, right next to the home of the Seahawks, and right beside where the Kingdom used to stand, the old home of the Mariners and the Seahawks. Seattle fans have gained a reputation through both facilities of being strong sports fans. I'm going to put it in the B tier. That's good. It's a good ballpark. Next up is, and the last one, is Guaranteed Rate Field. This facility, from the moment it opened, was outdated. It does not have a view of the Chicago skyline. If they turned it around, kept it in the same location and turned it around, it would have a great view of the Chicago skyline. But it doesn't. It was outdated from the moment it opened because it was not where the trend was going. That was Camden Yards that came immediately a year after Guaranteed Rate Field. They made many renovations to Guaranteed Rate Field, and even that, I do not believe brings it up to what you would think of a modern ballpark in the city of Chicago. So, for that, it is going in the F tier. It is, of course, ahead of the ODOT Coliseum and Tropicana Field. So, in the F tier is Marlins Park, Guaranteed Rate Field, the ODOT Coliseum, and Tropicana Field. The D tier is Rogers Center, Kauffman Stadium, and Angels Stadium. Getting into the more okay ballparks is Progressive Field, Target Field, Great American Ballpark, and Chase Field. T-Mobile Park, American Family Field, Truist Park, Citi Field, Coors Field, Citizens Bank Park, Minute Maid Park, Petco Park are your B tiers, and your A tier is Yankee, Busch, PNC, Comerica, Nationals, and Dodger Stadium. And the best of the best is Wrigley, Fenway, Camden Yards, Oracle Park, and Globe Life Field. That is my view of it. And that's all I have for you. As I've said, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content, and tell a friend. Share it far and wide. I'll see y'all later.